The message arrives. Innocent enough. A name you do not recognize. A time you were not present. A connection you did not witness. And something shifts inside you. Cold at first. Then hot. A tightening in the chest. A narrowing of vision. The ancient machinery of possession activates, and before reason can intervene, you are already interrogating. Already accusing. Already demanding proof of fidelity that no proof can satisfy. Because jealousy is not about evidence. It is about fear. The fear of loss. The fear of inadequacy. The fear that you are not enough, and that someone else, anyone else, will be preferred. This fear is older than language. It is wired into the deepest parts of our brain. And it is the most destructive force in any relationship it touches. Seneca, the philosopher who wrote more about anger than any Stoic before or since, understood jealousy intimately. He called it the daughter of love, but a daughter who devours her parent. Because jealousy does not protect love. It consumes it. It transforms the beloved from a person into a possession. From a freed being into a captive. From a source of joy into a source of anxiety. And in this transformation, everything that made love valuable is destroyed. The trust. The freedom. The generosity. The peace. All consumed by the desperate need to control what cannot be controlled. To guarantee what cannot be guaranteed. To possess what cannot be possessed. The suspense builds here. Because the jealous person is not evil. They are suffering. They are acting from a place of profound vulnerability. A place of ancient wound and present terror. The Stoic approach to jealousy is not condemnation. It is understanding. Not suppression, but transformation. The recognition that jealousy is not a sign of love's strength, but of self-security's absence. That the person who trusts themselves does not need to control their partner. That the person who knows their worth does not fear comparison. That the person who is whole does not need to possess another to feel complete. The biology of jealousy is ancient and powerful. Evolutionary psychologists trace it to the fundamental challenge of reproduction. For men, the fear of investing resources in offspring that are not their own. For women, the fear of losing the provider and protector for their children. These fears are not rational calculations. They are instinctive responses, triggered by cues that the rational mind barely registers. A glance. A laugh. A name. A delay in response. The amygdala fires. The stress hormones release. The body prepares for combat. And the mind, swept along by this biological tide, constructs narratives of betrayal that may have no basis in reality. Modern neuroscience confirms this ancient mechanism. Brain imaging studies show that jealousy activates the same circuits as physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex, which registers social rejection, lights up with the same intensity as a physical injury. The insula, which processes emotional distress, becomes hyperactive. The prefrontal cortex, which regulates rational response, becomes suppressed. The jealous brain is literally a brain in pain. A brain hijacked by threat detection. A brain that cannot distinguish between a real danger and an imagined one. And this neurological reality explains why rational arguments fail against jealousy. You cannot reason with a brain that is experiencing physical pain. The Stoics address this biological reality with philosophical precision. They recognize that we cannot eliminate the instinctive response. The amygdala will fire. The hormones will release. The pain will register. But we can control what happens next. We can control the judgment that transforms sensation into suffering. The judgment that says this glance means betrayal. That this friendship means threat. That this autonomy means abandonment. These judgments are in our power. And because they are in our power, they can be examined. They can be questioned. They can be changed. Epictetus taught that people are not disturbed by things, but by the views which they take of them. The partner's friendship with another is not the disturbance. The view that this friendship threatens the relationship is the disturbance. The partner's autonomy is not the disturbance. The view that autonomy means distance is the disturbance. The partner's past is not the disturbance. The view that the past determines the future is the disturbance. Each of these views can be examined. Each can be questioned. And each, when examined with sufficient rigor, reveals itself as assumption rather than fact. The examination requires courage. Because jealousy is comfortable in its certainty. It feels like protection. Like vigilance. Like love. To question it feels like weakness. Like naivety. Like inviting betrayal. But this feeling is the trap. The jealous person believes that their suspicion prevents infidelity. That their control maintains fidelity. That their anxiety demonstrates care. But the opposite is true. Suspicion creates the conditions for betrayal. Control breeds the desire for freedom. Anxiety poisons the very connection it seeks to protect. The Stoic alternative is not blindness. It is clarity. The recognition that jealousy destroys what it claims to defend. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This applies nowhere more powerfully than in jealousy. The jealous mind produces thoughts of catastrophe. They are happier with someone else. They are planning to leave. They never loved me. I am not enough. These thoughts, repeated, become beliefs. The beliefs become expectations. The expectations become self-fulfilling prophecies. The partner, constantly accused, eventually withdraws. The withdrawal confirms the jealousy. The jealousy intensifies. The cycle continues until the relationship collapses under its weight. The Stoic interrupts this cycle at the level of thought. Not by positive thinking. Not by denial. But by accurate thinking. By examining each jealous thought with the same rigor a scientist applies to a hypothesis. Is this thought based on evidence or assumption? Is this interpretation the only possible one? Is this fear proportional to the actual threat? The partner has a friend. Does this mean betrayal? The partner was late. Does this mean deception? The partner looked at someone. Does this mean desire? Each question reveals the gap between event and interpretation. And in that gap, freedom becomes possible. The freedom is not the freedom to ignore genuine warning signs. The Stoic is not a fool. If evidence of betrayal exists, it must be faced. But the Stoic distinguishes between evidence and imagination. Between genuine threat and projected fear. Between what is happening and what the jealous mind constructs. This distinction requires the discipline of assent. The willingness to withhold judgment until evidence is clear. To suspend the narrative until facts are known. To resist the urge to interpret every ambiguous signal as confirmation of fear. Seneca described this discipline with characteristic intensity. He wrote that jealousy is the most torturous of all emotions because it combines the pain of loss with the uncertainty of suspicion. The jealous person suffers the loss before it occurs. They grieve what has not happened. They punish what has not been done. This is the madness of jealousy. The suffering of imagination rather than reality. And the only cure is the return to present reality. To what is actually happening. To what is actually known. To what is actually in your power. What is in your power is your response to uncertainty. Not the elimination of uncertainty. That is impossible. No relationship offers guarantees. No partner can prove what they will feel tomorrow. No amount of surveillance can ensure fidelity. The attempt to eliminate uncertainty through control is the source of jealousy's destruction. It transforms love into prison, trust into test, partnership into surveillance. And it fails anyway. Because the controlled partner eventually rebels. Or submits. And submission is not love. It is surrender. The Stoic alternative is to embrace uncertainty. To accept that the partner is free. That their choices are theirs. That their feelings are theirs. That their fidelity, if it exists, must be freely given, not compelled. This is terrifying to the jealous mind. It feels like giving up. Like losing power. Like inviting betrayal. But it is the opposite. It is the only power that matters. The power to be at peace regardless of outcome. The power to love without possession. The power to trust without guarantee. This power is internal. It cannot be taken by any betrayal. It cannot be diminished by any rejection. It is yours absolutely. The cultivation of this power requires specific practices. The first is self-examination. The jealous person must ask themselves, what exactly am I afraid of? Not the surface answer. The deeper one. Not they will leave me, but I will be alone. Not they prefer someone else, but I am not enough. Not they will betray me, but I cannot survive loss. These deeper fears reveal the true source of jealousy. Not the partner's behavior, the person's own insecurity, their own wound, their own terror of inadequacy. The second practice is the distinction between need and choice. The jealous person needs the partner's fidelity to feel whole. The Stoic chooses fidelity but does not need it. The difference is everything. Need creates desperation. Choice creates peace. Need demands guarantee. Choice accepts risk. Need possesses. Choice loves. The transformation from need to choice is the transformation from jealousy to trust. Not blind trust. Not naive trust. But trust based on self-security rather than partner control. The third practice is the premeditation of loss. The Stoic imagines, deliberately, the end of the relationship. Not to create pessimism. To create resilience. By imagining loss before it occurs, they discover that they can survive it. That their worth does not depend on this particular connection. That their capacity for love does not end with this particular partner. This is not preparing for betrayal. It is preparing for reality. All relationships end. Through breakup, through death, through gradual dissolution. The person who accepts this can love more fully while love exists. The person who denies it loves in constant terror of the inevitable. Marcus Aurelius wrote that everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. If it is unendurable, then stop complaining. Your destruction will mean its end as well. This applies to jealousy with devastating clarity. The loss you fear is endurable. You will endure it if it comes. And in the enduring, you will continue. You will heal. You will love again. The terror of loss is worse than loss itself. Because the terror is constant. The loss, if it comes, is temporary. The Stoic eliminates the terror by accepting the possibility. And in this acceptance, finds the courage to love without fear. The application to daily life is immediate. When jealousy arises, the Stoic does not suppress it. They examine it. They name the fear. They distinguish what is in their power from what is not. They release the need to control their partner. They return to their own virtue, their own intentions, their own capacity to love well. And from this foundation, they respond to the situation with clarity rather than panic, with questions rather than accusations, with vulnerability rather than attack. The partner of a Stoic experiences something rare. Freedom. The freedom to have friends without interrogation. To have autonomy without suspicion. To have a past without judgment. To have a future without guarantee. This freedom creates safety. And safety creates intimacy. The partner who is not controlled can choose to stay. Can choose to love. Can choose to be faithful. And because these are choices, they are meaningful. They are real. They are love rather than compliance. The transformation is not quick. Jealousy is deeply wired. It is reinforced by cultural narratives of romantic possession. It is validated by media that equates jealousy with passion. It is normalized by friends who share their own suspicions. The Stoic must swim against this current. Must question these narratives. Must reject this validation. Must find new models of relationship based on freedom rather than control. This is difficult. It is countercultural. It is necessary. The difficulty is worth the reward. The jealous person lives in constant anxiety. Their relationship is a source of stress rather than peace. Their partner is a threat rather than a refuge. Their love is a battle rather than a sanctuary. The Stoic person lives in calm. Their relationship is a source of strength. Their partner is a free being they choose to love. Their love is a gift rather than a demand. This is the difference between jealousy and trust, between possession and partnership, between fear and freedom. The freedom extends beyond the romantic relationship. The person who masters jealousy in love masters it everywhere. They are not jealous of colleagues' success. They are not jealous of friends' other friendships. They are not jealous of strangers' advantages. They have learned that another's gain is not their loss, that another's connection does not diminish their own, that the world is abundant rather than scarce. This is the ultimate gift of the Stoic practice, the transformation from a mind of scarcity to a mind of abundance, from a heart of possession to a heart of generosity. The generosity is the final stage. The jealous person takes. They take attention. They take reassurance. They take proof. They take their partner's freedom in exchange for their own peace. The Stoic gives. They give trust. They give freedom. They give love without condition. And in this giving, they receive what the jealous person cannot imagine: the voluntary devotion of a free being, the genuine intimacy of mutual choice, the lasting peace of self-security. These are the fruits of the Stoic way, the harvest of a philosophy applied to the most difficult territory of the human heart. If this resonated, subscribe. This channel exists to bridge ancient wisdom with modern practice, to build unshakable minds for unstable relationships, to help you love without fear and trust without guarantee. Next week, we explore the Stoic response to heartbreak, how to grieve without breaking, how to lose without losing yourself. Rise as a Stoic.